We check in once a month with our ag commissioner, Dr. Mike Strain, and he is somebody got the chair stuck. He's walking in literally as we speak, and we greatly appreciate his time. Want to welcome in Dr. Mike Strain as we do. We get legislative check-ins from basically every area under the sun. Why not talk about what's going on in the ag world within our legislative session? Dr. Strain, welcome back. How are you, man?
Thank you. I'm great. Yes, we are now in that final swoosh part of the legislative session. You know, the first couple of weeks go slow. Now we're getting to that final 3 weeks. We got to be out of there by June the 8th.
Right.
And so now crunch time is on. So a lot of the Senate bills have not been heard in the House yet, and House bills hadn't been heard in the Senate. And so they're, as we say, they're crossing over. And so the committee hearings will be in full swing and legislative floor action. Every year we bring forth a legislative package. Since I've been in office, we've probably passed 125 to 150 legislative instruments, or bills, as you would say. So we do several things. One, we scour the law as it pertains to ag, forestry, aquaculture, rural development, and then try to modernize, update, get rid of old superfluous law and clean things up. We do that. So we have that. Then we also work with what is current of the day. So we have a grain bill, a very important grain bill that's going through. And because what happened is when we had the bad weather a year ago and the soybeans were really affected, the early soybeans, that the grain grading was literally all over the place. And so we did a deep dive looking into the law and into the rules. And what we found out that all the graders didn't have to be licensed to certify. They had to have one licensed grain grader employed, but not necessarily even in the room, and you had basically poorly trained or non-trained or less trained people that were grading the grain. And what does that mean? So if a farmer brings a tractor trailer load of soybeans in, tractor trailer load, and say you have 6,000 to 8,000 bushels on there, well, the difference in the grade could mean the difference between $15 soybeans and $6 soybeans per bushel. Right?
Well, that's a pretty big difference.
It's a huge difference. And what was happening, farmers were complaining and others, because the farmers would go from elevator to elevator till they found a grade that they thought was right. I said, well, it should not be that inconsistent. So we went out in the field and did some retrainings and testing. We also make sure that what was called the moisture meters and other things are done properly. But what we found is that we have a need to make sure that every grader is educated, trained, certified, and licensed. And so we are doing that. And so we have probably, we've the next training sessions, which we have started, the house is packed, and that's good. So we need to have uniformity there. The other thing we looked at is a discussion working with Cotton and Grain Association, and that's where that issue really came from, is to look at the development of mechanical graders. So in the old days, when I first started practice or whatever, if you did a blood count, it was done manually. You would do it under a microscope and you would count all the different cells. Now we have laser sight machines that can read 1,000 readings in a second and then averages that. So we're looking at the development and the SPY, a Senate resolution of a mechanical grading machine. Now we'll have technicians that run them and be responsible to check them, but to have absolute uniformity, no matter where you take your grain. So those bills, that is underway. And then, some cleanup legislation for structural pest control. And then another big thing that we've been working on now more than 2 years is that the department, just like we check gas pumps, will be testing the, EV chargers, electric vehicle chargers, to make sure that when you plug in your EV, you're getting what you're being charged for. And so that's another big piece of legislation. And then there's a host of bills, dealing with, everything from hemp to prescribed burning, the proper use of fire, which is an important thing, the proper use, prescribed burning, and we'll be setting up some study committees and streamlining. So we're busy.
Yeah, the EV charger one was one I had an eye on. It's Representative Eccles, I believe.
Yes,
put that one out. I wouldn't have even thought this would be a thing until I saw the bill, and it's like, that makes total sense. When you put a gas pump in your car, you got to know there's gas flowing through that pump.
And that it's gasoline.
Right.
And so you're getting what you pay for, and you're only getting what you pay for. And so, the big thing with gas pumps, make sure you're getting the right amount, but also that you're getting, if it's supposed to be, 96 octane, 97, that's what you're getting. And you're getting gasoline and not diesel. You're not getting diesel in your gas in your diesel, water, or anything else. And so we also check the scanners. So if you go to any store that sells anything, those scanners that they check, we check those, or any weighing or measuring device.
Right.
We're responsible for.
So
it's a big deal.
When it comes to an EV charging station, how does that work? How do y'all determine
there are new national standards that have come out, designed, and we always follow the national standards. So there are pieces of equipment, there are machines that we can buy that we will plug in. So generally you're charged at an EV station either just by hooking up, there's a flat fee, or you're charged for the amount of electricity you get or time. And so depending on that methodology, right, and especially if you're being charged for either time or the amount of electricity you're getting. Because if you look at the cost, if you're traveling across country, it costs the same or more to go electrically as it does on petrochemicals. Or, on normal gasoline. So we just want to make sure that they are right, and we're training our technicians. And the reason we're doing this, because we check all the gas stations. And normally, everything in electricity falls under the Public Service Commission. So we're working with them. And so their responsibility is for the meters going into the machines. We're responsible from the machine to the car.
Is there a way to know, especially with the ones that charge based off of time, about the consistency of the flow of electricity?
Well, that's some things these machines will check.
Yeah.
So they're very good. They are like $50,000 plus, these machines.
Wow.
So yeah, we're going to buy two of them. And so we're really at the dawn of this, considering that, if you look at what is supposed to be here in the next 10 years, something very, very necessary that we start on now. And I think you're going to see things changing because the methodology, the change, you're going to have greater technology for rapid charging.
Yeah.
I mean, just, like 10 or 20 minute charging. Their goal is to get it to where it's just like when you fuel up with gasoline or propane or whatever you're checking, right? That you have a rapid charge. And so all of that will be changing, and it's got to be safe as well.
Ag Commissioner Dr. Mike Strain is our guest. Talking a little bit about where his office has his eye on the legislative session. You mentioned the hemp. There's another product out there that I don't think garners a whole lot of attention, but is starting to garner a lot of fear. It's kratom. Kratom is an opioid, is what it is. And so it's new. And if you saw the legislation yesterday, there was a very vigorous discussion. That's Mr. Goodo's bill, Representative Goodo, where the state would go in and start looking at these kratom products to make sure they had just a small amount of kratom in it. Because, again, it has not been regulated by the FDA. It is a natural plant. And so there's also legislation to outlaw that. And I think, there's going to be a lot of that going through. I think we don't know enough about it, but it is an opioid-type hallucinogenic plant. And if you look back at when I was in the legislature, that's when we outlawed Angel's trumpets, morning glory, dogbane, henbane, all of those hallucinogenic plants. We made it illegal to grow them and sell them because it was getting into the hands of kids. And so there's a lot of concern about kratom. We don't know a lot about it, but I do understand that it is an opioid, and it's going to get a lot of attention, especially in the next couple of weeks. So you have two different pieces of legislation. One that would place it under alcohol and tobacco and testing through the Department of Health and Hospitals and doing testing on this, and another that would outlaw it completely. Has it shown to be dangerous at all?
Well, I listened to testimony yesterday, where someone, said their I think it was their son OD'd on it.
Oh, wow.
So it is, and again, we don't know a lot about it, but the thing of it is, too, whenever you buy these products, right, it's not like it's coming through a certified, tested lab. So you really don't know what's in a lot of these products, and that's the great risk, is that you don't know what's in those products. And as you do know, those in the drug trade will take a pharmaceutical product, copycat it, put other products in it, and make it look like that pharmaceutical product.
Yeah.
And so there's all these risks involved. And so I think what Mr. Goodo's trying to do is to have some form of regulation looking at this. And then on the other hand is just another bill to completely outlaw it.
We got Ag Commissioner Dr. Mike Strain with us, and will be with us for the remainder of the show. So, full disclosure, I learned about this as a pain relief and not as an opioid. I learned about this for pain relief, and my personal experience with it. I tried it a couple times. First time worked like a charm, and then you get what is it? Diminishing returns. Yeah.
Yes.
After I don't know.
Were you using the same product from the same pack?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, because I had something that I knew was safe, and I didn't want to venture out.
Right, because you don't know from pack to pack whether or not you're going to have the same amount.
Yeah, but ordered it online, shows up in a nondescript package. I mean, it was shady at best, to be sure. But yeah, it was after about 3-4 uses. No, got nothing from it.
Desensitized from it.
Yeah, and there were no opioid effects either, though.
Right.
It was just.
Right.
It was like the first time I used it, I was like, oh, this is nice. My back doesn't hurt today. And then after that, not so much. So we want to talk a little bit about FFA Day at the Capitol. Senate and House Egg Breakfast is hosted by LDAF as well, but we got a break for news. So let's check our ABC News, local news, traffic, weather. When we come back, we got a lot more ground to cover, literally and figuratively, with Ag Commissioner Dr. Mike Strain.
That's right.
He's in studio with us as he joins us once a month. Stick around. We'll be right back after ABC News on Talk 107.3.
So if you look at kratom, it has not been studied, really peer-reviewed trials. In 2019, the FDA said there's no evidence that it is safe for treating any condition, no approved clinical uses of kratom. It is, it comes from the Far East.
Yeah.
It's a controlled substance in 16 countries. Okay.
Yeah.
In 2014, FDA banned importing and manufacturing as a dietary supplement. So there's a growing number that are worried about it because it is an opioid type product from the East. Now, you also know that, nutmeg is often used for people that have opioid withdrawals. They use nutmeg.
Really?
Yeah. But you got to drink a whole, glass of nutmeg. Yeah.
That was the other thing about the kratom is you had to put the scoop of powder in water, and it was disgusting.
So some people take it for chronic pain, managing opioid withdrawal symptoms, or recreational. Right. But it's been around since, the 18th century. So in the 1830s, it was used as an opium substitute in Malaysia.
Really?
And Thailand.
What the hell did I buy? Because I didn't get any of that.
Well, you got a very low dose.
Yeah.
Said you can be mixed with other drugs such as caffeine and codeine.
Oh. Doesn't, well, the codeine, yeah. Caffeine, maybe not so much.
One time I had a really bad ear infection and they gave me Vicodin, and that was the best sleep that I've ever had in my entire life.
So, yeah, as someone who has had chronic pain for over a decade, back when doctors could prescribe opioids. Yeah. What was the name? Or was it Vicodin?
Yeah. Tylenol with codeine.
Loratab. I was prescribed
Loratab, yeah.
And it was amazing. I would be unbelievably productive for about 6 hours and then just fall asleep and sleep the sleep of the dead.
Well,
and then I wouldn't need to touch it again for a month.
Well, it came on the ear infection came on suddenly, and it was hurting so bad that my mom took me to the emergency room. and they gave me Vicodin. And on the, like, I was literally in the car, like, about to just, she had to, like, drag me out the car. So, like, they don't prescribe that anymore?
No.
What, like Lortab?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or, like,
I don't know.
Vicodin or anything like that?
Well,
Well, when I
most of they're trying to do is just minimally prescribe any opioid.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, one of the most powerful drugs you can actually take is Tylenol. It is very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in by itself is one of the most powerful, you know, pain relievers and anti-inflammatories.
When I got, like, in this really bad car accident, and they gave me Tylenol, I don't know, the strong one. There's, like, a number behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, like, it's like a muscle relaxer. But
It's probably Tylenol with codeine.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But stuff like that doesn't work for me. I'm about to grow some Mike Strain tomatoes.
There you go.
I mean,
and name them. I'm gonna name all my
That's
tomatoes Mike.
So we have a monoclonal antibody that we inject cats with for pain, Silencia. And so you inject it, and so they don't have to take any type of anti-inflammatories, and it works at least a month.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's a whole new world.
What's the one that you
Made by
said
Zoetis.
last time you were here that you give them to? I don't know. Maybe it was cat. I don't know. There was another one that we were talking about last time you were here.
Oh, you're talking about for flea control or whatever? But this is called Silencia. Yeah. So it's a wonderful product. It's only in cats so far, but that's an amazing thing for use in, it's groundbreaking. Imagine if you can use that in people, and then you won't need
totally.
no opioids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My problem is the opioids, they work.
Yeah.
But nobody wants
They
to
always
prescribe them because of the number of people that get addicted, which I get it. I understand.
Yep.
I'll take one for the team
They've
here.
been there since the dawn of time.
Yeah.
And used properly, they're very effective. You know, we don't keep any in the practice anymore. We don't have to now because we have these other alternatives. But
Right.
yeah.
Yes, we are looking at a chance of rain today. In fact, a 60% chance of rain, but that won't be till later on in the day. In fact, around 3 p.m. is when you'll see the chance of rain show up. 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock is when it will be at its heaviest and scaling back out of here before 7 p.m. High today of 81, low tonight of 73, high tomorrow of 87, getting back down to 71 tomorrow night. We do have another 60% chance of rain in the forecast tomorrow. Saturday's only a 25% chance of rain with a high of 88. Sunday and Monday, we look like we're going to be in the 90s, though there is rain in the forecast or some chance of rain in the forecast for all of next week. Right now, we're at 76 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge.
Mm-hmm.
837 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We got Dr. Mike Strain in studio talking about the agriculture within the legislative session. Dr. Strain, y'all had your FFA day at the Capitol. How'd that go?
Oh, it was wonderful. If you want to see something just impressive, it's the young people in the FFA.
Mhm.
They had all their state officers there. They had a number of chapters there. They brought their leadership there. You know, so well-mannered, well-behaved. We had some of the state officers come and testify in committee, make presentations. And, of course, if you look at the future, the future leaders, if you go into a group of leaders, if you go down to the rural caucus in the legislature and say, how many people in here were FFA members? The vast majority raises their hand.
Mm-hmm.
So it teaches them about leadership. It teaches them about fraternity, responsibility. But, often in a school, they're the best of the best. And so it's about vocational agriculture. But, they learn parliamentary law. They learn debate. They learn, about they're highly educated in everything from meat inspection, to doing electrical work, to welding, to growing crops. It's all part of their training, and we're very proud of them. And they come to the Capitol, and then, I interact with them as much as possible. I'm an old FFA guy, so I was the chapter secretary, but I told them, my jacket is pressed and put into a frame. It's at the office, but it's shrank. I guess when it's, because it won't fit me anymore. I look at it and say, look, I need about 3 of those put together to fit me now. So FFA at the Capitol is a big deal because, one, they come to see a representative government, and then they come in, they're allowed to participate in the committees, go and actually sit. Can you imagine now being in high school, going there and asked to sit down and testify in committee, and that interaction? So, I'd be terrified, right?
A little bit.
And then watch what's going on the House floor. But it does several things. One, it reminds us of what our real job is here, is to prepare these young people to take our place. And then we have the young people there to see that government in action at a young age, and they will carry that forward with them, through their college years, and then, of course, as they begin to build their careers, and then when they come back to be leaders there at the Capitol.
Speaking of leaders at the Capitol, the Senate and House egg breakfast.
That's always fun.
I mean,
it's incredible. So on the Senate side, we did about 450 breakfasts. On the House side, we do probably 500 to 600. And so we're there. We're for the representatives, the senators, the staff, and everybody comes in. And we have omelets, with ham and cheese. We have crepes, with some strawberry filling. We had some magnificent, strawberries. Some from here in Baton Rouge, from Fost Farms, also. From Springfield, and of course the Fost Farms in Tangipahoa Whole Parish. Right. And then of course, we had milk, from Klein Peter and Prairie Farms, milk, orange juice, everything, feed them a hearty breakfast, but the incredible edible egg. It's about the, promotion of eggs, but also the camaraderie you get when we're sitting there. We're all there visiting with our legislators. So we have farmers come, and so it's a good thing. And when the first day of the legislature, the staff always starts asking me, when's the egg breakfast?
Okay.
That's a big, that's a big day.
It gets on the calendar early.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Good to know. We were very fortunate. We had good weather, because I can tell you one egg breakfast, we put the tent up on the house side, came the next morning, the tent's gone. It's gone. I said, wait, this is a big old tent. It's gone. What happened to it? They said, come over here, look. I looked over the side of the rail, and there it was. A windstorm had come and picked it up and set it down right on top of my good friend Andy Anders' truck.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he's a dear friend of mine. I called Andy and said, Andy, I got good news and bad news. What's the good news? Well, your truck's still there. What's the bad news? My tent's on top of it. He said, okay, come on. So, he's a great sport, good friend. And so now we put weights on him and we weight him down. But again, anything can happen, but we had beautiful weather and just a great time. And again, that's one of the things that we do. And we do that all over the state. We do, the egg breakfast is a big deal. And today we'll be doing it at the main office at Florida Boulevard, where we have many different agencies are there in that main office. It's just not my office. But we do it across the state. We will do it, for the livestock shows. We will do it for special events. And it's about promoting the incredible edible egg.
Ag Commissioner Dr. Mike Strain is our guest. And, eggs have been in headlines because of the prices recently.
Somebody went to the grocery the other day and said, it cost me an arm and an egg.
Yes. I might steal that one. Consider that one stolen. That's
okay.
News.
That's fine. I didn't make that one up, so you're just passing on through.
But want to ask you about egg breakfast and FFA Day and all these sorts of events like this. Louisiana is a state where you don't have to go far to find real life application of agriculture.
Oh, absolutely. It's everywhere. It's around us.
So how much of this is coalition building? How much of this is education? How much of this is smoothing out? Do you have any adversaries in the legislature? And I'm not asking you to name names, but is there anybody that puts their foot down when it comes to bills that relate to your office?
No, generally not, because as a friend of mine, Dr. John Hagler from Missouri, said once, you got to remember one statistic: 4 out of 4 people have to eat. And so put all of it aside, and because my job is to make sure that we have food at still an affordable price. I'm working on that, but it's safe, it's nutritious, and it's available. And so normally what happens in a legislature, sometimes you have people that are very, very urban and don't quite understand the rural farm urban interface. And
Right.
so when you start looking at that, and the fact is, we will deal with issues such as what it takes, when we plow, and we try to plow as least we can, but there's dust. If you have cattle, then there's some noise, right? If you have chickens, that there's a product from that called chicken manure, but I'm serious. Or if you are out there, in sugarcane land, we burn the fields. So there are things that if you're in normal farm life, in our everyday life, we are accustomed to. But where we have now that new interface, because what's happening, people are moving out and they're buying up and living in what was farmland close to other farms. And so we're always working on that interface. And then what happens is that the farmers are, less than 2% of the population.
Right.
But when you look at the governments, especially local government, what I say, agriculture will never die one day from one bill. It will die from 1,000 little nicks.
Yeah.
We have to protect the nicks because we have to protect it. So I'll give you, for instance, we've seen where there was ordinance to say that, well, you can't plant sugarcane in the city limits up. Well, no. Or you can't use these roads to get you your timber. I said, wait, that's the only way in. Well, we're sorry. No, it doesn't work that way. I said, we have to use these roads because we pay a severance tax, for roads. But when you start looking at all these things together, we have to protect the largest industry in Louisiana. The largest industry is ag and forestry. And it is 85% of Louisiana is in ag, forestry, and aquaculture. So 15% of Louisiana is where the rest of us live. And it is the largest and the fastest growing and the strongest base industry in Louisiana. So so a lot of what I do is working, in just gentle education, right? Talking about the issues.
Ag Commissioner Dr. Mike Strain is our guest. Did you refer to chicken manure as a product?
Yes, absolutely. It's very, very valuable. It is wait now. So when you look at this, chicken manure is very valuable as an organic fertilizer. And so when you look at that,
fair.
It's properly removed, it's composted. And one of the things we're really working on is affordable pelletization and being able to move it. And so it is very, very high in nitrogen, especially when the, quote, commercial fertilizer, right? The man-made fertilizers got very costly because of the price of natural gas.
Yeah.
And then it made it a very affordable alternative. So, so chicken manure is a very valuable commodity.
Good to know.
What we look at, we want to be able to utilize everything that comes off the farm. Right. And so whether, it's the chicken manure or or any type of byproducts, now we're really taking a hard look at all types of cellulose, any cellulosic material that is not consumed by man or beast, we need to turn into either chemicals, fuel, or fertilizer. Every bit of it. So it does several things. And a new emerging field is looking at carbon capture by taking all the remaining cellulose that we haven't found any other use for, grinding it up, putting it in with water, especially if we have salt waters or other waters that we have to inject anyway, injecting that slurry subsurface, and then you're removing all that carbon, right? Carbon removal permanently, and then you don't have any type of slow biological breakdown of the cellulose that releases gases. So a lot of exciting things coming on.
Wow.
And especially if we can get carbon credits that are saleable, right? That we can make dollars out of.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of entities are looking to invest serious money in industrially harvesting everything they can from cellulose. So when you think about, you think about when you go out into the forest and you harvest trees, right?
Okay.
You cut the big log, you put it on the machine, and you take it out. Now I want you to think that we'll have a machine that cuts it off, right? And then everything, pine cones, needles, everything goes and is ground up and then utilized to make precursor chemicals, and then every bit of it is utilized as well. So a lot of exciting research going on.
Ag Commissioner Dr. Mike Strain is our guest. We've got about a minute and a half until break. I wanted to toss this out there. We might have to hold over till after the break. It is termite season.
Oh, yes.
This is one that hits home with your office for sure.
Yes. You've seen them swarming, and now is the time. You need to start checking your homes and start today and keep checking for several months. Number one, today what you can do, make sure you don't have any leaks. Termites must have water.
Right.
You've got to have moisture. So leaky roofs, make sure your gutters are clean. Overflowing gutters, termites love overflowing gutters. They get into that rotted bit of fascia and then they start working into your roof, and look down to make sure that go all the way around the slab of your house. Look for wet spots on the slab. Why is that wet? Because if it's wet on the slab, those termites, and you look for the mud tubes, will go into that spot and invade your home. And so again, make sure you don't have any vegetation. That's a big one. No vegetation touching your house. What do we always do when we landscape our house? We put flower beds around the house, but the vegetation must not touch the house, and that landscaping must stay at least 3 to 6 inches below the top of the slab.
Okay.
And that was a big deal, but look for termites, and when you're inside, press on the walls. If you see something weak, little pinholes. And the other thing, hire and have a contract with a licensed, bonded, reputable termite company.
Huge, because the amount of damage on the back end is ridiculous if you get caught blindsided. He's the Ag Commissioner, Dr. Mike Strain. We're going to take a quick break for your money now. We're going to check traffic when we come back. I got a couple more topics to close out with next, up to and including Mother's Day. Stick around. We've got more on the way.
Yes. Last time, probably for good strawberries and some magnificent crawfish. Went to the
Fresh Pickens Market yesterday.
Yeah.
Had California strawberries.
Really? Well, they're running out. So
that's what they said.
They were hoping to keep Louisiana strawberry. And yeah. And I tell you what, when we cut those strawberries open here, that got some attention.
Yeah.
When we cut those strawberries open and showed them, that got some attention. That was
even on my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
It had a lot of views.
Yes.
I went and I said, where's the Louisiana strawberries? They're like, we blew right through them.
Well, we did. Well, because of our weather patterns, they were a little early.
Yeah.
And then also too, early on we had a fungal problem. Early on, we lost a lot of the crops. Yes. A unique invasive fungus that came in. We're dealing with that, and so we lost some of our, some of them lost their whole crops and had to replant. But they try and, like Foster Farms and others said, they want to have strawberries for Mother's Day, right? You got to have strawberries for Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And of course, crawfish. My goodness, I'm one of the grand poobahs.
We'll be having crawfish on Mother's Day for sure.
Yeah.
It's kind of we do Valentine's Day and Mother's Day with the crawfish at the house. Of course, a million times in between as well, but those are the two big ones. Well, Easter is probably the biggest, but on the front and back end of the seasons.
Yeah. I show you two of my babies. I had two at the tractor show. Those two.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah, that's two of my children. I have a lot of children, but that's two of them.
I assume it's
it's the yellow and white. That's the 19.
And then the green John Deere.
Green, yes. Yeah. Now the John Deere I bought 90% restored. We're working on it to get it the rest of the way. The yellow, the yellow and white one was a briar patch project.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was actually a freebie. I bought one. He said, "You buy one, I give you the other one." And I said, "Where is it?" He said, "It's over there." I said, "I don't see it." It's over there. I still don't see it. It was under some tin in a briar patch. And
oh my.
Oh yeah. And we started rebuilding it. And so what you're looking at there is 2 years worth of intermittent work to rebuild them. But yep. So that's what we do. And so we get it home, we button them up, which means we get them just kind of stable, ready, and then we'll pull out another one or two on the line, start rebuilding them. My brother's going to rebuild. It's about probably a 45, maybe 1950. It's a very old one, and getting the parts coming in, and so we'll strip it all the way down to the frame, and we start off by using. Here's one of the pictures of it during the process.
Oh, wow. Just like one big chunk.
We use oven cleaner. Works really well.
Interesting.
You spray it down with oven cleaner after you've pressure washed it once. And then, so that's what
Are they just pretty or are they functioning?
Oh, they're all functional.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, so how do you, if there's parts that need replacing, are those readily available?
No.
Yeah.
No, that's another part. They're not.
Is it? So how do you
have
go about that? Is that 3D printing? Or?
No, sir. No. So, I'm a member of the International Harvester Chapter 31 Antique Collectors Club. So you see your buddies, you get on the internet, you try to get them on any way you can.
Craigslist.
And you start accumulating those things. and then you start rebuilding it. So no, it's often difficult to get. So when we go to these tractor shows, there's swap meets, and so some of the old guys will pull up with a trailer. It's got all kind of pieces, parts in it, right? And if there's something you've been looking for, you get it,
Right.
and
I
then you
love
start
this.
trading and swapping, right?
Hunt around till you find what you're looking for.
Yeah, because like that John Deere, now that is a 1947 multi-fuel, 1947.
Right.
And so I have gotten some parts from John Deere. Other than that, you've got to rebuild or bring it and have someone, bring it to a machinist, to do that. But it's a lot of fun, and we have 4 classes of tractors. We've got the show quality that are ready. We've got the working tractors that we work on the farm. Then we have those that one day are going to run and going to work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then we have the parts tractors. So they're all in stages. And so the working tractors, we make them functional working. So it's a lot of fun. You learn a lot. And then when we go to these meets, it's like, so I can't figure this out. It's just not right. And then you'll have an old timer. Now I'm 64. One of the old timers to say, well, boys, no, let me tell you what you got to do. And they'll know in an instant what you need to do.
That's
and
crazy.
Then they also they'll have a day where everybody gets together at one of the farms. They bring their problem children, their tractor they can't get just right.
Okay.
And then collectively you have, 20 different tractor enthusiasts working on a tractor.
Yeah.
So I mean they'll set up an assembly line, and it's a lot of fun. Of course we we eat barbecue, and we drink a lot of iced tea and that sort of thing. You got that right.
I didn't know
Yeah.
swap meets.
Oh,
Right?
What? Oh yeah. You got to be careful though. Look, you leave. Your pocket will be thinner because there's something you have to have that you don't need, but you got to have it, right? Yeah.
Always.
Yes. So, but it's a lot of fun.
You ever
Antique trucks too.
You ever try to domesticate a gator?
I would not advise that because a domestic gator will come to know you, not respect you, and one day will eat you.
Thank you.
No, it
Clears that up for before.
No, but I'm serious. I'm very serious about that. Yeah, you don't, they don't recognize you as a superior being, and they're not afraid
you're
of you.
a food source.
You become a food source. Yeah, no. Remember, that is a reptile.
856 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. One segment to go.
We got to have the backstory on that.
Okay, so here's the backstory.
Yeah.
Dr. Mike Strain is in with us. So we have what's called on the show the shark alligator rule. If there is a news story about a shark or an alligator, I'm going to find it. We're going to report on it. And we were reporting on the alligator that was floating in the lazy river at the casino in Lake Charles. A little baby alligator was in the lazy river. I think it's low bears, but it's rare that this happens. But somebody found it, took a picture, posted it online, and of course it went viral. And Alondra seems to be convinced that she can domesticate an alligator. And I'm like, no. Absolutely
An
not.
alligator has a brain the size of a walnut, right? And yes. No.
You don't do that.
No. They become nuisance alligators.
Yes.
There's some creatures need to be left in the wild forever. Yes, there you go. Yeah. Now, how would you like to dive in that pool and come up face to face with little Alphonse there?
He's probably 3.5, 4 foot. Yeah, even that'll do some damage. I mean, might not take your arm off, but you're not going to use that arm much anymore.
No, well, for me, it made my heart stop. So
There's that too. There's definitely that. Just floating along in the lazy river, living his best life. In between rounds.
That's like snakes. When I was in practice, I went in the barn one time and I walked in, and for some reason, a big old rat snake curled down and looked me dead in the eye, and I swear my heart stopped. And when I kind of got back, I thought the farmer laughed so hard that was his pet rat snake, that would just curl down and look at it. But yeah. But you don't expect that to see him eye to eye when you walk in the barn.
No, and I got a buddy that keeps snakes and whatnot, and it baffles me. They're first of all, they don't love you back.
No, but that rat snake was the farmer's pet. I understand
Sure,
that had a job, but I think he keeps it because that rat snake loved to scare people.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Mother's Day's coming up.
Yes, indeed, and now is the time, right? You need to have some beautiful crawfish and some Louisiana strawberries. And look, don't forget those Louisiana pecans.
Oh, yeah.
Whether the Cane River or the Bazarons, right, or Minsky's, some beautiful Louisiana pecans. cook things up with mother. I can tell you that I've taken some Louisiana pecans, and this is a recipe from Chef Jeremy at Homer's house.
Yes.
Cooked them down with some brown sugar, a little bit of white sugar. You cook those pecans down, and I add some fresh strawberries. I'll cut some up, and then I'll put some slices in and cook that down a little bit. And you put that as a sauce on top of tuna or chicken or pork chops. Oh, my gosh. And for me, pork chops, I like, when I cook them, I'll sear them a little bit, and then this makes almost like a glaze.
Yeah.
Right? And, he does it with I heat tuna.
It's darn near a praline glaze.
It is. Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
I was going to say brown sugar, white sugar, pecan.
Yes. But he showed me his mother's praline recipe. My goodness. But for Mother's Day, again, don't forget that Sunday. It's time to cook for Mom. But you got to have, look, it's getting late in the season.
Yeah.
If you want Louisiana strawberries,
and
the crawfish have never been better. We had some at the tractor show from Tesh Farms, from the Durans. I swear, you'd have thought we were serving lobster.
He is Ag Commissioner Dr. Mike Strain. We visit every single month. And like I told you, we were going to run out of time, and that's what we've done. Dr. Strain, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Here comes Moon. Oh, my God. I was trying to say a couple months ago, we were getting to the meat and potatoes of the conversation, and I said, speaking of meat and potatoes, here comes Moon. And then it just became a thing like you're just going to throw random foods out there.
I understand. Oh, wait. You got to be careful about that.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. That's one of those words you can't use. Yeah, that has that's a connotation for a specific ethnic group, I think. Is that not right? Okay. All right. Yeah. You never know anymore, right? So I'm a Cajun. You can call me anything, right? Yes. So when at the track, I ordered the crawfish because what we did. If you renewed your membership or if you became a new member, you got a wristband, all the crawfish you could eat. And so we ordered, 500 pounds from Tesh Valley, from Tesh Seafood, which is the Durans. And they said, look, do you want them select? I said, absolutely. And so we're there, and people said, we've never seen crawfish like this. I said, of course, when the commissioner gets select,
right, they're
select, right? They were magnificent.
I don't know if you get select. Give me whatever. There's part of me that's like, I'll take one for the team. I don't have to have the biggest of the biggest. I'll take everything going away.
Yeah, well, we were promoting everything, but they were beautiful. Yeah. The rest will go to the peelers. They were beautiful, and they had the people there that were cooking them. They did a great job. They knew what they were doing. Oh, so they were taking right out of the boil, right onto the plate, and people stayed under that tent a long time.
Oh, I bet.
Yes.
I bet.
Yeah, and so we had a fella there. He was from Nebraska. I said, you ever eat crawfish? He said, no. Yeah, he talked, no. And after a while, he said, Nebraska's pretty good, but I'm going to have to come here.
I like it. It sells itself for sure.
Thank you.
No, my pleasure. Thank you. We covered a lot of ground there.
So are we still
on? Yeah.
Okay. I probably need to get a phone number so I can get in the door.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Facebook, we will see y'all tomorrow. Appreciate it.